If you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
Donald Trump.
Okay, why do you support Donald Trump?
Parker, I was the guy that my kid woke up. I just got in, my kid woke up, and I couldn't talk to you, and you got me back in, and I just want to say thank you.
No, for
So,
sure.
that's
Alrighty,
funny.
why do you support Donald Trump?
Okay. I can't believe I'm talking to you. Okay. So I'm a little nervous. That's funny. So I want to be very specific. I want to say my reasons for supporting Donald Trump are related specifically to my personal experience. So I
Okay.
live in Minnesota. And I know, don't type. No, you can't type. Don't type.
I'm literally writing it down so I can remember what you say.
Okay.
I wrote down my personal experience.
Okay. So you're not messaging anybody, right?
No, I literally
Okay,
have
that's
I
fine.
have notes written down for.
Okay, I
Who
trust
would I
you.
be messaging? I literally don't have.
I don't know. So I live in Minnesota. I pay taxes here, and I think that I have been scammed out of my money a lot from the things that have gone on in Minnesota. I think that what Trump has done for me and my personal life is important. I would love to hear your rebuttal to that. That Trump has not had an impact on my life and allowing the justice system to investigate such things, nefarious things that have gone on that directly affect me and my paycheck. And I don't want to veer off of this subject. I want to talk about this subject. Fair?
Okay.
Fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
This
hear
will
it.
I will bring up things that are relevant. So,
Okay.
I do think that fraud in Minnesota was being investigated prior under Democratic administrations. Actually, like the Biden administration and their FBI literally looked into fraud in Minnesota and was investigating it throughout that entire time. There's nothing that
Sure.
Trump did uniquely, specifically to address and investigate fraud. So I don't know specifically what, in terms of your personal experience, would be in terms of getting scammed that would be relevant to that, because I think both administrations are clearly trying to limit things from like that from happening in terms of a general basis.
Okay.
If we look at like a few things in terms of general, like maybe you think this is a little bit off topic, but I think this is directly on topic. Donald Trump has directly pardoned
Easy now. Easy
fraudsters.
now. Come on. Stay on the fraud.
This is literally fraud. Like Donald
Minnesota
Trump
fraud.
pardoned fraudsters.
Minnesota fraud. Come
Well,
on.
I literally fully addressed the point, and then I added one point on top of it. Is that not fair?
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. I want to stay. I want to stay on Minnesota fraud because I'm not talking about what Trump, has done with other fraudsters. Sure. He could have pardoned them. Sure. That's aside the topic. I want to stay on Minnesota fraud and
Can I
that
clarify real
Trump
quick? If
has.
you're going to evaluate both administrations based upon fraud, you have to be willing
Yeah.
to take into account how both administrations view fraud, things they've done in relation to fraud. Those are
Yeah.
obviously going to be relevant points, correct?
Sure. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So I guess like given that what I said about it, like that the Democrats were already investigating this under their
Well, yeah.
administration, what tells you
What did they
uniquely
do?
about Trump that he's going to address this to any greater extent?
But what did they do? You said they investigated them?
Yeah. And
But
fraud was
okay,
being
but obvious,
investigated through the FBI under the Biden administration.
sure, but what has been done? Please
They
enlighten me.
actively had
Enlighten me.
arrest warrants for people. They specifically were investigating it. They built up the cases that they are specifically
Weak.
using. It takes years for this to happen.
What did what happened? Parker,
What do you
you,
mean?
you, you need to give me specific examples of what they actually did and what was performed in response to the
I don't
investigative
know
fraud.
specific more examples other than the fact that they have been investigating it. I'm asking you for any specific examples that would
Yeah.
differentiate between them. I'm not familiar
I'm
with any
saying
specific examples.
specific examples include uh, these daycares, clearly fraudulent daycares. Nobody can argue with me that
Name
they weren't
one.
fraudulent. Come on, Parker, you're
Wait.
not
I
stupid.
just want you to. You just asked
You're
me
not
to name
dumb.
one. Can you name one? I'm not saying it doesn't exist. Just name one.
I know what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I'm doing the
I
same
will
thing that you
say
just did to me. Is it not?
sure, the Leering Center. Sure.
Okay, that wasn't specifically for fraud that it was being investigated. That was being investigated for other types of infractions. Can you give me any basis to say that they
Sure.
specifically committed fraud? By the way, because they
Any
literally
basis?
there were multiple different news agencies that went there after that saw that there were
Here's
kids
the
going there
thing.
before and after. Shirley was there.
Witnesses. Witnesses. You can't argue the witnesses that could account for the lack. Come on, Parker. The
What
lack of
witnesses? I'd be
children.
willing to take that into
The
account.
lack. Neighbors. Nick Shirley. You know
I
his
don't
name.
think he's a legitimate reporter.
I don't care. I don't a legitimate. What do you base legitimate on? What would you say legitimacy
I'm
is
not going
based
to
on?
accept any
Fact.
information because, like, by the
Fact.
way, what you just brought up was from Nick Shirley, and you misremembered it because of the fact that you thought it was based upon fraud. It wasn't based upon fraud. Those were other infractions. Some of the other things
Was
from
it
the
based
video
upon?
probably could have
No.
demonstrated fraud, but there was nothing indicated within the video in terms of what Nick Shirley showed that indicated the level of fraud. This also takes away from what other real investigators are doing on the topic because of the fact that he's
Real?
trying to make
Who's
it and
real?
target
No,
it
no,
towards
no.
specifically Somali Americans.
Define real.
What?
Real reporters. You said real. Define real for me.
I'm saying like in accordance with facts and that don't try to
Sure.
misrepresent things.
I agree. Facts. I think facts is totally. I agree with you. A legitimate reporter reports on facts.
Yes.
Can we agree on that?
And is truthful. Do you agree?
I agree.
Okay. Do you think that Nick Shirley did that in this video when he represented it specifically that way and that clearly wasn't it? I can
I
also give
think
you another video specifically of how Nick Shirley was trying to represent in Ukraine. There was like these, they were like living a lavish life while there's a war
sure.
going on, trying to undermine the fact that there
Yeah.
was a war. And there's actually a person that interviewed them specifically and pressured them on that point, and Nick Shirley had no response. If you'd like to go
Yes.
look that one up.
I, I'm not arguing that Nick Shirley is flawless as a reporter.
Okay.
I'm not going to argue that. I won't, because I think you're probably right. I think some of the some of the interviews that I've seen that Nick Shirley has done in Iceland, right? Greenland. Sorry,
Greenland,
which
yeah.
one? I'm not. Apologize. Greenland. I think
Can we cite
he
some other
didn't.
information because this isn't indicative of fraud? One,
I'm
two, like this was
illegitimizing.
all investigated under Democrats. I don't know how this is unique
Sure,
to.
investigated, but what did they do? That's what I'm saying.
I told you they
Dude,
investigated. What? Okay,
Parker,
what did
they
Trump do?
investigated. What did they do?
What did Trump do?
Investigation is not like
Bro,
taking
I didn't
somebody's
like
support.
conduct the investigation with them. I'm not familiar. Well, tell
Wait,
me what they did.
Parker, why are you getting emotional?
I'm not emotional.
Don't
I literally just said I'm not. I'm not. I did not conduct the
Parker,
investigation with them. That's not
Parker,
emotional.
take take it down.
What? Can you stop gaslighting me right now? Genuinely, I didn't do something
I'm not.
emotional.
I'm not gaslighting you. I'm
You
saying
actually are, bro. Like I
you
literally
took
didn't do
you
anything
took the
emotional.
energy. You took the energy up, and there's no reason for it.
The energy wasn't very up. I don't know what you're talking about. Like you're literally making
Okay,
me
okay,
cringe
okay.
right now.
Okay,
This is
back on
embarrassing.
topic. Parker, please, back on topic.
What do you mean, Parker? Please, you just did that to me. You're literally gaslighting me right now instead of and like tried to act like I was being like out of like
Parker,
overly emotional or something when I
don't.
wasn't.
Parker, how old are you?
I'm 23 years old.
You're 23.
Mm-hmm.
How old am I? How old did I say I was?
I don't remember. Like
30.
34.
Come on. 33,
Okay.
23. Just like gaslighting. Like, let's put the bullshit aside, right? Like
What?
we're not like, gaslighting. Just please, like, can we stay off these terms that are very millennial and Gen Z? I'm sorry.
What do you mean millennial and Gen Z? Gaslighting isn't millennial and Gen Z. It exists in your
Millennial and
generation.
Gen Z made up
Also,
gaslighting.
aren't you
They did.
millennial?
Yes, I am.
So then why are you saying don't use millennial terms when you're a millennial?
Because I don't like that. I don't like my own terms. I don't like the terms that
You
came
don't
from
like your own
millennials.
terms. Okay.
No, I don't. You like
Oh,
all
okay.
millennial terms. Parker, you like all millennial terms.
Well, why don't you like the term gaslighting?
I think it's cheap.
How so?
I don't know. I think it's cheap
Okay. Well,
because
you
I'm not
tried to lie and act
intentionally.
like I
I'm
was
no.
crazy when I literally was just saying that I wasn't overly emotional when you were trying to say that I was being
It
overly emotional. That
it
was
felt like you
obviously you
were.
gaslighting me about what happened.
No, but I wasn't intentionally trying to do something. Gaslighting, I believe, has intent, and I didn't intend to do that. I'm sorry, I didn't. So
Okay.
that's it. That's all I want to say. So back to Nick Shirley. So can we get back on topic? Your partner, come on. Nick
Uh,
Shirley proved that
this
there
isn't
were
on
not kids
topic.
present.
Can
There
I
were
can
not
I tell
kids
can I
present.
ask you, like, can you tell me what's
You're
unique
not
with
gonna let me
Trump?
wait. You're not gonna let me get back on topic.
I actually was trying to. Can you tell me what's unique about Trump's policy comparative to the Biden policy on fraud that means that you support Trump because of his way of addressing
That
fraud?
I will tell you, the media actually has the ability to say things. Things are no longer censored. Biden, you know this as well as anybody. I know you know because of the interviews that were conducted with you and Charlie Kirk, right? Were certain things out of those arguments taken from the actual argument that happened? And did you feel like you were maybe censored? Like
No.
you had points that came up against him that maybe weren't aired because it didn't further his agenda, whatever you want to say.
I guess like in some of the clips he made, but he didn't do them about the Jubilee. He didn't post a single clip about that Jubilee debate. He only posted clips
As
specifically after I like owned him with the Elon Musk salute thing.
per,
Um,
yeah.
he got owned with that one, and he got really mad. So he made like this clip, and he like cut it out of context to try to make me look bad.
So
And
he
that was the only
redacted
clip he ever
information.
posted of me.
He redact information?
Yes.
Why? To censor you?
Maybe to make his look position or make his position look better.
Sure.
Okay, I don't think that's censorship. I think that's just him being biased.
Well, I sure. Yeah, I would agree.
Can
I
we
agree.
clarify
I
what we
agree.
think censorship is? Like censorship would be like the government
No,
restricting by
well,
using the law, restricting you from saying something, correct?
mm, sure.
Okay. Okay. So if it's the government using the law to restrict people from doing things, how is media restricted under Biden? The government never imposed a law to restrict people from saying things.
I guess they were not incentivized to do so. I think the corruption. I really want to stay in Minnesota and the corruption related to the leaders in Minnesota. I have not heard so like after all of this fraud has come about, I've heard nothing from Elon Omar other than getting sprayed with apple juice, which is funny. I would love to hear your response on that, please. I do
You've
want to
heard
hear.
nothing from Ilhan Omar? I'm confused.
I want to hear
She's not
from
the
no
one
no 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 no
investigating it.
no. I want to hear from you, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. You listen to the
You,
investigators, you hear from the investigators on how the investigation's being conducted.
I'm not talking about the. You're trying to switch subjects here. Like you're trying to get
I'm
us
not
back to Trump.
changing subjects. I'm talking
You're
about the
you're trying to talk
investigations.
about
You look at
Trump
what
versus
the
Biden.
people who are investigating fraud, you look at what
Yep,
they're specifically saying in terms of where they're at in the investigation. I don't
sure.
necessarily think that every single one of these people who are going to be
You're
in every position around the United States, in terms of a federal position of office or a House position or a Senate position, is going to know the ins and outs of every single fraud investigation
okay.
in their state. Like,
Sure,
that's absurd to think that that's going to be the case. Okay, there
sure.
are plenty of
I grant
fraud
you
things
that.
that are happening in the
Sure,
United States right now that Donald Trump does not know about. Yet he's the president.
sure. I grant you that. I grant you that. But it's like the thing is that the awareness of it is possible because like Facebook didn't censor things. social media, a lot of Gen
Wait,
Z, Gen X, whatever. Wait, hold on, please. I don't interrupt you. A lot of Gen X, Gen Z, Gen whatever get their news from Facebook via posts, via whatever, via whatever. Nick Shirley went viral in part of due to Facebook and what he revealed. I don't think that would have been possible under the Biden administration. I think they would have censored the S out of it because I don't think I can swear, right?
so,
Right?
y- so,
Grant me something.
I don't think that he would have been censored by the government. There's no policy that was passed by the Biden administration to actively censor people
Government.
on social media.
Would he been censored by
Name one
Facebook?
policy.
I'm I'm not talking about policy. I'm talking about pressure. I'm talking about pressure from the current administration that was in the Biden administration and the power that they had
Yeah, the
over
Biden administration has
media
the
and
ability to
Facebook.
say they want this or they don't want this, but they never enforced
Sure,
anything. Like, for
sure.
example, like during the pandemic, they absolutely went to social media companies and were like, yo, you guys should probably take down vaccine misinformation because it's harmful and leads to people dying, right? And that'd be
Sure,
something
but
that you should take into account.
Fauci,
But they never said you are legally forced to do this and you will literally be harmed
dude,
legally if it is the case that you do not do this. That didn't happen. So there's no source for that. There's no evidence of
Parker,
that. And for you to say that they are going after or censoring media, I think is wildly absurd,
Parker.
especially as a basis to say that you support Trump.
You want to talk about gaslighting? Bam. I will deal you one back. That's gaslighting. Come on.
What did I do that was
I
gaslighting?
gaslighting. You tell me. Come on. You
That
use the
you
term.
just used the
You
term. I'm
no.
asking you what did I do there
You
that was
use the
gaslighting?
term first. You tell me what you did to gaslight me now. Come on. You brought gaslighting into the conversation. I never said gaslighting.
I don't think I gaslit you. So can you tell me
Reverse
what you think I
uno.
did that was gaslighting?
Reverse uno. Parker. Come on. It's you're
He won't
saying
answer the question.
false things.
Hey dude, you
You're
said that I was gaslighting you. What did I do that gaslit you?
you're saying false things.
Like
I did.
like what? Like what false things did I say?
The problem is that you go off topic. You and what's your friend? Your friend's name? Come on, what's his name? Neil? No, he's not
Yeah, his
important
name's
enough to
Neil.
remember. Is it Neil?
Mhm.
Your TikToker friend?
Yeah.
Either way, whatever. It doesn't matter. You guys go off topic. You do. You deliberately you deflect and you go into different directions than with the conversation. What was the first thing that I said when I came on your call? I said I want to stay on one topic, and I said I want to deal with Minnesota fraud and those people that are involved. You're talking about the investigation that the Biden administration did and the Trump administration did, and you're comparing the two, correct?
Mhm.
And you're saying Biden investigated, correct? Trump is investigating currently. Biden had how many years of investigation? You tell me. How many years did they have?
The entirety of their administration. Every
Which
administration
is
is
how many
investigating
years?
fraud throughout their
How
whole
many years?
administration.
How many years? How many years?
4.
Please. How many years has Trump had to investigate this fraud? How many
5.
years? No, 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 no. 2020. 2020 is when a lot of these programs were taken advantage of
Fraud existed prior to that
heavily.
point.
No, no, no. You're correct. When did fraud jump to a different level?
There's no
And why?
evidence that fraud is at a higher
And
rate
why?
now. Actually, fraud is
Parker,
higher. Did you know
you're
fraud is
smart.
higher? Did you know fraud is higher in Florida and in Texas per capita comparative to Minnesota?
I believe it. I'm not arguing that, Parker. I'm not arguing that. What am I arguing? You tell me. Come on.
I think you're trying to argue that you think that Democrats didn't investigate fraud enough under their administration
They had
or
four.
didn't
They
hold
had
them
four
accountable
years.
to a greater extent, which I
They
don't see
didn't
that to
do
be true.
anything.
I don't see any change in policy that you could point to. And also, I just want to clarify. You said earlier that I was gaslighting and then failed to substantiate that. You didn't say what false things I said. You said I went off topic. Those are two separate claims. You
Well,
backtracked after the
sure.
first one after saying I said false things. And me
I
going
agree.
off topic, by the way, isn't gaslighting, right? I just want to let you know. And I didn't go off
Sure.
topic. I literally directly addressed everything that you said and then added
Sure.
another thing I thought that was relevant to the conversation in terms of how the administrations view fraud, right? In terms of
Yes.
a broader conversation, continue the conversation. That's not gaslighting.
Sure. I agree. I agree. I would relinquish. I'll say, okay, I take that back. Fair.
Fair.
Did I answer you back? Did as far as Trump investigating versus Biden? You mentioned and you said that both administrations have investigated the fraud. We agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying my argument is that Biden had 4 years to do it and did nothing. Nothing
Wrong.
was done.
Wrong. There were
Come on.
investigations. You already conceded that.
Investigations? What are investigations?
Wait,
Parker,
that's just
what
so
is an
dishonest of you to say
investigation?
that there was nothing done.
What's
Like we just clarified multiple times that there were
done?
investigations that happened.
Done. Give me what is your definition of done? Investigations done. You said, well, things were done. What's done?
Yeah, like people were convicted, investigations specifically were
Who?
conducted.
Examples. Examples.
I don't know off the top of my head people
I want
convicted, but I can give
examples.
you I'll give you a media
Parker.
article if you'd like.
Parker. Parker.
People convicted
Sure.
of fraud
Okay.
in Minnesota under
How much
Biden.
money? How much money? How much money
I don't know. I
were
don't know all
they
these things.
convicted
I'm
of?
not familiar. I don't know why you're asking me for all these
Sure.
points.
Because I'm looking for billions. Like I'm not looking for $100,000 of fraud. I want like 19, 18, 20 billion.
Okay,
Because that's how much
well
was
then can you
stolen in
give me
Minnesota.
then here's my question. Can you give me a comparative analysis of the level of fraud that was convicted under the Biden administration compared to the Trump administration to show
I'm
me
not
that it's
talking about
lesser under
convicted.
the Biden administration compared to the Trump administration? If you want this overall analysis,
No,
well then that's
no,
probably the first thing you
I
should have
don't.
taken a look at, but instead of taking a look at that, you've decided
No,
specifically to try to make this broad claim based upon only just a
no.
few things that you can point to. By the way, please stop cutting me off. But go ahead.
I respect you. I'll let you finish.
No, go ahead. I'm done speaking.
I'm specifically citing Minnesota fraud, Parker. I'm not talking about like you talk about widespread. You say widespread fraud. Yes, you get off topic. You just do. I'm talking about one specific site. I'm talking about Minnesota. Me, my paychecks. I have 3 kids, Parker. I have to feed them. I have to get them to school. I have to pay gas. I work. I work hard. I work hard for my money. And I feel as though I really think that the programs in Minnesota have screwed me out of my money to be able to pay for things for my kids. Is that fair? Like the personal thing that I feel about it, I know fraud has occurred. And it's like I'm just getting aware of it now. Like just now we're getting aware of it. We had no clue about any of this 4 years ago.
It was
Not
already
one
being
thing was talked
investigated
about the
4 years
Somalian
ago.
fraud.
It was already being investigated 4 years ago under the Biden administration through the Feeding Our Future,
Sure.
specifically, which is something that they were investigating in, has been reported on by the FBI that they've been investigating into this for a long time. This is
Yeah.
not unique to the Trump administration. I don't know why you keep trying to like
Yes,
refer
it
to it
is.
that
It's
way.
completely
You have
unique.
no
It's
evidence.
completely
Please stop
unique.
talking. You have no evidence specifically indicating that they went after a greater level of fraud under the Trump administration compared to the Biden administration. And there's no basis in evidence to say that specifically the Biden administration maybe allowed for fraud or passed policy to increase the level of fraud that happened. No evidence of that at all. And they did investigate it under their administration, which is exactly what you wanted to happen. So I don't understand what your argument is.
You don't understand at all.
No,
You
not at all.
can't hear
I really
anything
don't
what
get
I'm
it here.
saying. But Parker, I know you're smart. You're super smart.
So then should be a reason why you should question your argument further then.
There should be a reason why you're questioning your argument. Like you can't just say that. You can't just say that my argument should be in question just because you have an argument.
I
It's
gave you the
unfair.
argument. Would you like to respond to the argument? You
I
didn't do
think your
that.
argument. I reject your argument. I don't
Why?
accept it as. because of my argument. I think my argument is better. I'm
Why? What
sorry.
about your argument in comparison to my argument?
Everything, every single thing.
Like, be
So
specific.
you're talking about the Biden administration. I apologize. Versus Trump. I knew nothing about any of the fraud that has been committed in my state in the last 4 years. Zero knowledge of it. And I'm trying to think of why. And I'm thinking about the media that is, I don't know, are they liberal? Would
So,
you
so
agree
all you're
with me?
really
Wait,
telling us.
hang on,
Okay.
Parker.
Sorry.
Parker, come on. Would you agree the media in general would lean towards liberal or conservative in your unbiased opinion? I just want that. Would the mainstream media lean liberal or conservative? Honestly.
Sure. I'll say.
Honestly.
Sure. I'll say the mainstream media leans more liberal.
Would that impact potentially people in liberal supremacy to want certain things to be pushed via media or not?
Yeah, people
Would
control
it sway?
media to be able to do that, to be able to
Why?
influence what people think,
Why? Why?
because they
Yes.
want to influence what people think,
Yes. Why would you want to influence what people think?
to impact
Right?
society.
Right. Right? I mean, and I'm not like, here's the thing. I'm not a through and through Republican. You know what I think about like Erica Kirk?
I'm confused. Was
I
there
think,
supposed to be like a point to this, or
yes, major point. Erica Kirk, Republican, Democrat. Donald Trump attended Charlie Kirk's whatever. We're talking about Donald Trump, right? Do I support Donald Trump or not? Is that what we're talking about?
mm-hmm.
Okay. He was at Charlie Kirk's memorial, right?
If you want to call it that, yeah.
He was there, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Parker, I'm a Republican. I really do vote Republican, and I vote for Donald Trump because he's Republican, unfortunately. Him being at Charlie Kirk's funeral, memorial, whatever you want to call it, I wasn't nuts about Erica Kirk's entrance with the fireworks and all that shit. Sorry, no, don't boo me. Okay.
I'm really confused why we're talking
We're
about this
talking
right
about Donald
now.
Trump.
Like, why?
We're talking about Donald Trump and why I support him.
Okay.
Is that so like I support him and I vote for him. I think him being at Charlie Kirk's memorial and Eric Kirk, whatever, I think that's a bunch of BS. But I still would vote for Donald Trump.
I've gained no information on why you've liked to vote for Donald Trump. So I don't know how you went from fraud to that, but why do you support Trump? What is
You,
the reason why you support Trump?
because he is allowing the fraud to be hopefully investigated and prosecuted. Investigated, what's the difference between investigated and prosecuted? Parker, lawfully, what's the difference?
So investigation is to gather information specifically for a charge and then to
Correct.
try to carry out a conviction. And prosecution is
Correct.
what you do specifically once you've already charged them to try to carry out a
Correct.
conviction. Now, in terms of the investigation, what specifically have they done in terms of investigation that's unique to their administration that makes you want to support Trump over the Democrats?
Media, the awareness, 100%, and that was my point. I brought up media, liberal media, censoring, stopping, whatever. Conservative media under Trump, whatever this is, whatever the difference is, I support my knowledge of what's going on. Precisely.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Do you primarily get your information from conservative media?
I try. That's a great question. No,
Where do you primarily get your information from?
I try and get from both sides. I try and get
Could
from
you just give me
CBS,
specific examples of where you get your
CBS,
information from?
CBS,
Okay.
sure.
Where else?
Fox, sure. CNN, ESPN. I mean, ESPN reports on political things too. Like it's widespread.
What else?
Parker, whatever. Facebook. I mean, Facebook feed, but I don't just look at conservative media. I don't. I look at both. I look at
So
uh,
I have a
feeds
question.
from both. Sure.
Maybe your awareness on the level of
Mhm.
fraud existing could have just been based upon the information that you've seen rather
Correct.
than a
Yeah.
liberal media's unwillingness to address the level of fraud that exists. Because I think that there's plenty of liberal media that has absolutely addressed fraud that exists and clearly led to the Biden administration investigating this. Because we as
Sure.
Democrats, we don't want there to be fraud so that we can use that money specifically instead of it being fraudulent to actually help people out. Obviously, we don't
Right.
want money to be fraudulent, to be used
No.
fraudulently. We just acknowledge the reality that fraud is a smaller portion of the overall budget. It's not most of the overall spending. So we can do a greater
Sure.
thing to address it under either administration. There's nothing unique to Trump's administration that you can point to in terms of policy clearly that they've implemented. All it really was that conservative media was talking about this. Well, that could have happened
Sure.
regardless of whether or not Trump was in the position of the Oval Office. So that's nothing unique to Trump
It
being in the Oval Office that would
is a
mean that
public.
they're addressing fraud to a greater extent. One thing I would uniquely point to indicate that he's not addressing fraud to a greater extent is that he's pardoned fraudsters such as Todd and Julie Chrisley, right, and plenty of others that specifically have committed fraud. He sent false slates of electors to the Electoral College to cast Trump votes when he didn't win to try to steal the 2020 election. So he fraudulently tried to steal the election in 2020 and undermine the integrity of our democracy.